welcome. What you're looking at is a test server, so seeing where I'm at and ganking me is not going to work very well. That's also the start of this. Basically, is if you want to try Abyssals, if you want to try a specific ship for Abyssals, log in onto the server, on the test server, and try it out there, because you're not going to really lose money there. Buying anything on the test server is basically free. So if you say, okay, buy this ship, then it's basically pretty much all costs 100 ISK per item. So like a Gila is 100 ISK. So you can just play around, make a build, get your fancy skins even. Yeah, I won't cover the fit itself. I won't cover every detail, but I will just give like an overview of what an Abyssal is and how you roughly run it. To start with, Abyssals basically have a weather type. That basically means that a specific weather has a specific debuff or buff to your ship. So some weather types will, for example, cause you to take more fire damage or electrical damage, EM damage that is. Others might, for example, expand your shields or give everything in the abyssal space more armor. So yeah, it's a bit like a wormhole weather. And the second part is when you go into an abyssal, it's an abyssal of a specific difficulty. And you do that by using a filament. So those filaments can be bought on the market. You can just search for them. For example, the level 4 ones are called Raging. And then you have different kinds of abyssals that you can just buy. Depending on, of course, how popular it is, some abyssals will be cheaper to run, some filaments will be cheaper to buy, that is, than others. So, but I won't go too much into that. So before I start, what I always do is basically I will double check that my ship is repaired, because I don't want to go into an abyssal with a faulty ship. The second thing I do is I check if I have all the ammo that I need, that I have some repair paste, that I have like 1 or 2 of the right filaments, not that one. So in this case, a Raging Gamma, I'll buy some extra. There we go. And I keep them in my hangar. And I have a pack rat for picking up loot. So before we start, let's undock. Alright, so we're undocked. We can't just run Abyssals anywhere. You want to ideally, of course, do it in a somewhat safe spot. For that, you basically want to find, first of all, a safe system. It could be even in a wormhole if you like. You try to find a location that is basically not where other people would be running missions or running PvE dead sites or things like that. Again, won't dive too deep into that. I've basically made a bookmark of where I want to run it, so I warp there.
Warp drive active.
Doing a last check. Yep, my fit is the correct one. I check basically my DPS. I check my shields. I check my capacitor, and then I know that I won't lose my ship, at least hopefully. So the next step, of course, you come out of warp. You're in a safe position. You double click your filament. Again, you verify that you have the right one, because if you pick the wrong one, you end up with a different kind of weather. Again, also the weather is explained here. So in this case, the environment is basically radioactive, etc. It will reduce explosive resistance, but it will enhance the ship shield strength. And that's also why this ship is a shield-based ship. So I've got a massive amount of shield extenders on it. I've got some core defense field extenders, and I've got some damage mitigation here and below. So we get this, well, 95k EHP, but when we enter the Abyssal, we'll see this bump to, I think, 115k or 120k. So that's a lot. This gives us a lot of buffer, and it's not a very not standard build either. So let's do that. Let's go in there. turn on my shields now. Not that it matters. So in the beginning, you're starting. You basically take a look at the room and what kind of enemies you have. So in this case, we have some healers, the renewing Rodivas, some ads that slow us down, and we also want to inspect the room. So what's in the room? This is the first of the 3 rooms. It has a pillar here, which is something, I think, I forgot actually which debuff, but basically these pillars either do damage or give you buffs or debuffs. In here we also have the bioadaptive caches. You see them in the overview. These contain the loot. We want to shoot those and gather the loot. But the most important one is the one near the gate. That was the one that contains the most of the loot. So I'm going to start, otherwise time's running out. That's another aspect of it, of course. Everything is time constrained. You have 20 minutes to finish this entire thing. I put my drones out. And we start shooting things. Well, but we should start shooting the healers or the tanglers. So what I generally do is I fly to a spot that is sort of safe. You can see this one's doing damage. It will be damaging the drones, but not that much. So we just have to keep an eye on that. We see that we're being slowed down, which means we'll take more damage. So after the healer is gone, and this one too, we will take that tackle off. So this is just a matter of waiting. Yeah, that's the cache that will hold all the goodies. There we go, the anchoring one. Let's orbit around the cache for a bit. As you can see, I'm taking damage, but it doesn't matter much. If we look at the fit, we have 126k EHP now, which is a lot. The regen is relatively low, 105 HP per second. But effective EHP regen, the effective hit point regen, will be higher due to the resistances, so that will be up to 300-ish depending on which damage type you're receiving. So, in the meanwhile we're killing these enemies. I will set my drones on. Actually, I will return them to the drone bay because I'm getting damage. We'll also start looting this cache. There we go. There we go. That should explode the cache. We'll also loot this. It's a 35-second reload on this, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, we're next to the cache, so we can loot what comes out of it. There we go. Now we'll also already approach the gate. That will be unlocked when we kill this last enemy of this room. Oh yeah. There we go. So, the gate is now being unlocked. I can recall my drones. I actually also generally turn off whatever is using capacitor, so as we are going to warp, we can regen more of the capacitor. I think it's a good habit. Okay, so we're ready. We've checked basically that our drones are back. We've checked that we haven't left the pack rat behind, which we didn't use right now to keep things simple, and we're jumping through basically. We leave these 2 nodes because they have less loot, but in general I would drop the pack rat, as you will see in the next one, and we'll start looting the rest of the nodes too. So let's jump to the next one. Alright, so again, we look at what we have. We have Ember Grips, Blast Grips, Ember Grips. If I recall correctly, that's all mostly DPS. Maybe the Ember Grips will slow us down. We have some nodes here. They're there. here, and another one in front somewhere. So yeah, turn on the shields, start moving, and now they will start targeting me. I'll put out the drones. There we go. And I will make them attack. So it's a nice room because now the loot is kind of close to me. So I will drop my pack rat here. There we go. I will start moving down. Start orbiting that at 1000 because we can easily take all that damage. And now we can start targeting the nodes as we kill the rats. So make sure you have enough missiles for that. That's the first. We watch our damage and our cap. We also watch what kind of things are happening around us. As we can see, the 2 nodes exploded already. And there's a third one a bit further away, so we're gonna fly towards it. That one is there. That's actually where we started. Should have shot that first. In the meanwhile, we can apply some missile damage over here. And again, I should have actually taken the Webifier out first, but it doesn't matter much. In this, this is an easy room basically. You know what? Oh, I wasn't watching and my drones just died. That's how it happens when you're talking. So let's change that. Let's watch this better. We're now in range of this node, so we can start heading back slowly. There we go. Again, we keep watching our drones now. This one is also slowing us down, so that's the next one we're gonna kill. Oops, they're already gone.
A module has run out of charges.
Then there we go again with the drones. Now we're basically just going back to our pack rats because it's looting all our caches. We're watching the time also. We've got 12 minutes left. Ideally, we're going to be done at the 10-minute mark in this room, this second room. It's a good measure, basically 5 minutes per room. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but it's a good measure of, you know, how well it's going. If you can stay at or around the 5-minute mark, everything's going dandy. If you've got 2 rooms in a row that take 7 minutes, yeah, then you gotta make sure that the last room you don't care that much about looting. You just want to get out quickly and maybe sit on the gate, just in case. Oh, I forgot my missile launcher because I was talking so much. So yeah, by now we've looted everything. We take everything out. We pick up the pack rat. The MTU is in my cargo now. So now I start orbiting the gate, ready to basically jump to the next one after we kill all the rats. We can even regen some cap, but it's not really important. Oh, this one's getting damaged, so we recall it. Hopefully on time. Hello. I'm recording this, by the way, so you can later check whatever you've missed.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm basically clearing the second room now. We're almost done.
You may, so I just muted the stream, so if you are going to explain things, just key up, because I can't bear to stand my echo.
Sure thing. So that's the last ad. When it goes down, I recall my drones. Oh. I make sure that everything's getting reloaded. I turn off my prop mod and everything to regen more cap, just in case I need it in the next fight. Then yeah, halfway through the
Which room is this? Second or first?
This is the second one.
Yeah.
We're halfway through the reload, so I jump. I've got enough hit points, I've got enough caps, so I should be fine unless I'm very unlucky. We're gonna take this gamble. Right, again, third room. We now basically evaluate everything. We've got harrowing villas and anchoring villas. I think the villas have the drones, so you want to get rid of them quickly. We also want to take a look at the loot. So it's mostly to the right side, here, here, and here. So if we fly to the center of it, that we should be fine. As soon as we start moving, we get targeted.
Oh, I looked at this. You also have that tangling you want to take out first.
Yep. Yeah, it's mostly the drones that take 2 damage here. The harrowing ones need to go soon too. But if I recall correctly, this is an easy room with this fit, because you have so much buffer. So also the nodes come into range for the looting. So that's one. Let's launch the pack rat already, because why not? Normally I put it closer to the gate. Alright, that fat mag is going down. So yeah, we're basically just checking everything. There was a tangling one, so it was webbing me, so I probably want to get that next. Firing some missiles at the node. And also the next one. Now I'm flying towards the last one. Where is it? Over there. Yeah, as you can see, lots of buffer. Nothing really is doing much.
This is a gamma, right? Or
yes.
is this...
Yeah, this is a tier 4 gamma, which boosts my shield, and yeah, it's easily doable with a 400 million Gila build, or Gila, whatever you pronounce it.
You know, it's actually Gila, but...
Oh, Gila. Okay.
Gila, yeah, Gila is, yeah.
We have another tangling one, but it's not really tangling, so whatever. Oh, now we have a problem, because we're out of rockets, so that's okay. We'll send one drone to the node, and one drone to the Gila. And in the meanwhile, we can just go back. That one drone's finished, so we send it both to the tangling villa. And now to the last one. Again, we keep eye on the time. We have lots of time left, because we were lucky with easy rooms. And that's it. Now we slow boat back to the pack rat. We gather our loot. As you can see, all the drones have become inactive. So there is no point in killing them, basically. And now it's basically a bit of a waiting game. I often turn my shields off already. I generally check if I'm reloaded, but it doesn't matter because we're going out. But you know, if you go out of the Abyssal, maybe there's enemies like who scan down your warp-in nodes, whatever it's called. So someone could be waiting there for you, in theory. That's why it's important to find a safe spot before you get into this. So yeah, that's the total loot. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's not showing the actual value because on the test server you'll see this is not the true value. But in general this would be about a few dozen millions, like 40-50 million I guess. So we now go back to the gate to go back to known space.
Oh wait, no, you're... Okay, never mind.
You can ask questions if you want.
No, I was gonna say on the Tesla because I was gonna say if you can get into Fleet and just post it in Fleet, then I can get an appraisal for that. But
Ah,
you could just do an appraisal of it from the test server anyway.
oh, yeah, exactly. That's about 60 million GTAF value.
60 mil.
That is on the
Okay.
higher side. Generally, a tier 4 will get you about 30, 40 mil, depending on, you know, how your luck, but sometimes it's 60 or even 100 or even a few hundred if you're really lucky. If
I'm
you get
guessing it's because of that T5 electrical filament.
no skill books, like the advanced skill books for what's it
No, but I
called?
mean this run. This
Ah,
run.
yes, absolutely. So generally this base material will be like 13 mil, and then indeed the filaments are what makes it way more profitable. So we're done. Uh, we see this exit point, the Abyssal Trace, and also at the top you get a 45-minute invulnerability timer. So this is where you actually check if you're safe in space, if there's enemies camping you. Because if not, if it's not safe, what you do is you pop up another filament. I'm not going to click it now, but basically you when your timer stops or when you click to do an action, you instantly also click activate. Because as long, oh yeah, you don't do it until the timer is done. You do it as soon as possible, because as soon as this filament that we just, the abyssal trace that you just saw disappears, they can drop a mobile depot, and the mobile depot will prevent you from activating a new filament. So that's one of those things. But that's, I guess, a bit more of an advanced topic. So yeah, that was it. That was the run. Um, should I do another, or should I close it with this? What do you guys think?
Warp drive active.
Well, for me, I'm the only person in here, so I. You know what? Why don't you just do another run?
Yeah, I'll
Because
do another.
I, I basically saw the last room and that was it. And
Yeah, I'll do another. I
it
see
seems like
there's,
you got a lot of easy rooms.
Docking
yeah, there's
permission
7 people
requested.
watching. I see in total. So
Docking
whoever
request
feels
accepted.
like leaving can leave, of course. But for the others, I'll do another. So what happens afterwards is I always go back to the station. I basically repair. 2 drones are to be repaired. I also, of course, lost 2 drones because I was not paying attention. So we have to restock those. That's restocked. So we always check how much ammo we have. This is kind of tight, but whatever, it's fine.
Oh, how much are raging gamma filaments on?
Just a moment.
Yeah, just how much is one of them on the live server?
Yeah, I'll get to it in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these filaments are about 8 million. And then you have electrical
Okay.
ones that are like 15 million. But it's because of the cheaper price of the 8 million of these that I run these. Uh, if
Okay.
if you would be running tier 3 firestorms, and that's what I used to run, you're talking about only 100 or 200k ISK for a filament, and that run will net you on average 15 million, but maybe even 30, or even if you're really lucky, 200-300 if you get one of those skill books. But yeah, on average it will be like 15 million, and you'll do 4 an hour of those, so you'll make easily 60 million or more an hour. While with the Raging Gamma, you get better drops, so you could easily make 90 to 150 mil an hour, not counting the super rare drops, basically. One last check. Okay, we're good. Again, use a test server to try your builds, to try your fittings, basically. We warp to our safe spot that ideally is off of D-scan range, which is not in this case, because it's a test server. All right. There we go. Again, we check the filament to make sure we have the right one. We're running it with a cruiser. It's a Gamma 1 raging. There we go. Fancy new warp animation. At this point I activate my shields. You saw a little stutter maybe. That means the room has loaded, so I already activate my shield, so I don't have to think about it. The Lucifer Cynaballs are going to drain my my capacitor, so these need to go down ASAP. I'm checking everything else. Okay, that's fine. We have some cloud here. I think this is a speed one that makes you go faster. Could be wrong. We've got
300% bonus.
Yep, and then we've got this pillar here and a pillar there. Anyway, it doesn't matter much in this case. I'm not going to go for this far out node because it will take too long.
What's the difference between the Lucifer Cymbal and the Elite Lucifer Cymbal?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's never been problematic either. Yeah, in this case, because I'm only going for one of those nodes, I'm not dropping my pack rat either, because it's not worth it. Here I would generally start using my my Nosferatu, because they're draining my cap, but to be fair, there's only 2 ships, so they're not going to drain much. Even if you're fully drained out to 0, you will lose your shield hardeners and your prop mod. It's not a big problem, but this Nosferatu will help you keep up, at least, you know, have one of those shield hardeners on.
One of your drones is getting aggroed.
Thank you. It's not too bad yet. It's good to know, thanks.
Okay. It's just because 2 are yellow boxing you and the other 2 frigs have a lot on you.
Yeah, it's not always a problem, but if frigates and drones, that's generally problematic though, so they will hit my drones a bit harder.
Yeah.
Oops. Kill the cache, and then loot the cache. Oh, oh yeah, of course, the right tab.
A module has run out of charges.
Some people don't have auto reload on because they might want to have like a different missile type depending on the situation. So in these rooms that we saw, it's not really important because they were easy. Some rooms are a bit harder, so you might want to do that. Alternatively, I personally like the auto reload because most of the time, say 90%, I want that same Fury based ammo. And only when I don't, say if I want to, get a battle cruiser, for example, from range, which is rare, I would load the Kaldari Navy one. But I will just watch, you know, see it go to 2 or 1, I will stop it and reload manually. Alright, we can loot now. 2.8 million. We already start approaching the other gate. Don't want to waste time on that. And again, we left 2 nodes behind. We had actually lots of time. We have now at least, say, 2 minutes to get out of here comfortably. In theory, you could still get a node by sending your drones after it, but in general, you just assess that properly before the fight, not at the end. And it's a demo anyway, this. So we've got our drones. Nope, we don't. You always check whether you have your drones back. You always check whether your MTU is not out because this one costs 40 mil or something. And when you do, you can jump. I always start at least the Afterburner off, because if it stays on, your Afterburner will be pushing you towards the enemies, which is generally in front of you. So this is now off, that's good. These are easy, that's just small drones. They do a lot of damage, but it's really easy to deal with. So let's do it. Let's see, our nodes are here and there, and the clouds are here, so no issues. And here, but it's also not really an issue. It's a short range damage thingy. So let's get going. Yeah, this allow me to target because of the range suppression thingy. And because I can take the damage easily, I just kill those first. There we go. There we go with those. So now you start heading back. You could do two things now. You could start heading back and put your MTU near the gate and then start looting. You could also just drop it here, which is what I will do, because those enemies die relatively quickly. Actually, we need this one more, this thing over there. There we go with that. Yeah, in this case, I'm just reversing straight back to this node. Normally you wouldn't do that because you would get so much damage. But depending on your enemies that you're facing, you could deal with that easily or not. In this case, I'm spreading out my damage too because it doesn't matter. But there are rooms that are much harder. For example, you could have like two neuting Lisheks, for example, and then some damage, and maybe also a Weber. That's a bit trickier. In that case, you have to be thinking about, you know, your transversal, how you're flying, and definitely more about your priorities of what you're going to kill first. Again, we're watching the time here. We have 12 minutes left. This is the second room, so it's going really easy. I see this one's targeting my drone, so I'm going to kill that one next. Oh, already doing it. In the meanwhile, everything is being looted. Only one thing left. There we go. We pick up the pack rat. We get the next enemy. Meanwhile, we can fly back.
A module has run out of charges.
Don't forget your drones. Don't forget to double check that your pack rat is in here. And now we slow boat to the gate. Yeah, see, that's the downside of putting your pack rat so far away. So you have to kind of get a feeling of where it is smart to put them, because if you put it close to the gate but they're webbing you, then it's going to take you ages to get there and you're going to start collecting items way too late in the game. So then you're going to lose time on that. While if you do it early, then you collect faster like we just did, but now I have to slow boat to the gate. So that's kind of something you have to get a feeling for. Sometimes also you get clouds very close to this gate, so you don't really want to put a pack rat inside of it if it's a bad debuff. So, always just assess. And this is just a matter of experience. And, we can jump. I always just slowboat and then manually jump just in case. Because making a mistake can be very expensive. I put my Afterburner off. Can already put my shields on. Okay, this is a bit trickier. A renewing one, tangling Kikimoras and striking Kikimoras. They do a lot of damage after a while. And also a striking Damavik. Again, I'm not going to focus on looting now. I'm just going to focus on running this side. I could do both.
Wouldn't you go after the renewing Rodiva first?
Yes, absolutely. But I'm not going straight toward it. I want to get this node and that node. So I'm gonna fly sort of in between. But in this case, because of this short range suppressor, I might not be doing something smart, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go this way.
Wouldn't the short range deviant suppressor be good though for killing off Kikis?
Yes, it's actually good to kill off frigates. At least for Kikis, it will do some damage, but it will also kill my drones. So
Okay.
it depends. I've personally not used it for Kikis. I'm being targeted by this Weber, so I'm gonna get that one. Because you get the damage problem becomes bigger, of course, when you're webbed. Getting damage here, so this one's going back. In the background you could hear the horn of this thing activating, which happens when you go too close. I'll launch my pack rat here, that's fine. So yeah, you see my shields are getting clobbered a bit, but it's not a problem. My drone is getting damaged. Now we return back to the MTU. Normally, of course, you would be targeting these way earlier. And you would, of course, start hitting things that you've already half killed. Because the faster you get it down, the less DPS you're getting. And that really makes a difference with Kikis when they start spinning up and doing more DPS over time. But we're in the last room, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're at the MTU now. It's looted everything, so we're gonna get it.
Can you just hover over your shield so I can see the recharge?
Sure thing.
Out of interest.
Sure thing. It's about 100 per second.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've picked it up. We can go back now to the gate. Yeah, it's 100 per second, which is kind of low, although it's like 300-ish per second in terms of effective health per second. But if you have an active shield regen, then you're talking generally about 300-400 at least, probably more for probably at least 400, I'd say, for this kind of abyssal. But we can be low-ish in that regard because we have so much shield. And the biggest benefit, of course, is that if you're muted to 0, then you still have that shield buffer, and you only need to get these up, or one of these up, to, be reasonably okay-ish.
Okay, don't forget your drones.
Thank you. I almost did. So yeah, drones are back. Packrat is back. Well, it's almost back. And we can jump. Again, we always check whether it's safe after jumping. In theory, we have always another filament. In theory, we always have another filament here, like a low sec filament or a new abyssal at a tier 0 or like an easy level, to basically start it before someone could basically drop a mobile depot here when this abyssal trace disappears, and basically disallow us from entering the abyssal to kill our Gila. Again, also, this is less of a problem because this Gila is super cheap. Well, this is not correct, of course, but it's like 350 mil without implants and maybe 60 mil in implants. So it's not really a shiny target for people to hunt down. That's also why this build is nice. And that's it. Unless there's more questions, of course.
How much would that have been from this run?
Warp drive.
Oh, I will check it out.
Because I'm guessing this run is more of, this is one of the lower end.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking it up now. Yeah, this is a 27 mil value, not
It's
counting.
about 20 mil.
Yes, exactly.
Docking
So this is
permission
one of the
requested.
worst
Docking
runs
request
I did in
accepted.
the last half a dozen or so.
Okay.
But considering, of course, that I didn't loot as much as I would have when I would be streaming, because I would be way more on point with everything and not, pausing to explain stuff. But yeah, this is a typical meh run. You see the blueprints. They're sometimes good, but when you get the disintegrators, they're just generally useless because the materials you put in it cost about as much as the item sells for. So unless you want to, use it yourself and you like just building stuff, then by all means you could use it. However, sometimes you get like a Kikimora or a Vedmag or something like that, and yeah, those will net you let's say 10, 15, maybe even 20 million profits when you build them yourself, because the materials are just cheaper than what you can sell the item for. And yeah, you got the skill books. Forgot the name. The fancy Triglavian stuff that costs 200-300 mil.
Valets, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the
Or precursor weapon, or
Yeah.
special disintegrator. Sorry, small, medium, or large disintegrator.
Yeah, specifically the specialization ones. They are easily a few hundred mil. So that's nice to sell or to use, of course, if you want to train those still. But yeah, that was it. One last word is you could start with a Gila, but you don't have to because this is expensive. If you just want to try it out, I'd say, and you can afford a Gila, buy one on the test server and play with it before you buy a real one. If you can't afford a Gila, go for the tier 0 and tier 1 Abyssals with a Caracal. Caracal is also a good missile boat, and the benefit is that you're training those Caracal skills and getting those skills up, more damage and so forth, and those skills can be useful for using the Gila later on, or the Gila, sorry. So
Fine.
yeah, this looks fancy. This is a lot of money. There are cheaper abyssals to run, and they are just as fun. They can't just be as much of a challenge as a Gila run, because everything just scales down. It's a cheaper ship, but also an easier to run abyssal. But of course, it will net you less per hour. I think the tier 1s or tier 2s are probably 5 mil per run, and then 20 mil per hour.
So, in a cruiser, from my experience, the T0 I haven't done, but the T0 might be 1-2 mil per run. It's good kind of starting out. T1, I know kind of up to this, my knowledge, but T1 and T2 in a cruiser, T1 is between 4 mil or 3 mil to maybe up to 10 mil, and then you can get a special drop that's average. T2 up to about 15 mil.
That's decent.
Or 12 mil, and then T3 again up to about 15, and then it kind of from T3 and T4 is where it kind of scales up a
Yeah.
lot faster.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the T1s are
yeah,
amazing in that regard because, as you said, it's like maybe a 5-ish mil, sometimes more, sometimes less. But say it's
but
20 mil an hour, your Caracal is earned back within 2 hours, and it's
yeah,
relatively easy to run if you have a half decent skills. Might be trickier
yeah.
if you've got like maybe 2 million SP, then yeah, you might get into trouble unless you've really skilled just for this.
Um, but I mean, even if you do have, if you do have the ISK and you do get a Gila, even though you test it on the test server, I would still, if you're just starting out with the Gila, I would still do just T2s or T3s with it, so you get used to using it in an Abyssal and
Yes,
then move on.
I agree. Maybe the first one or two or three, just to get the hang, or maybe half a dozen, just to get a hang of it. And then I'd say as soon as you have a feeling for it, do the tougher ones. And you will die in the rooms that you don't understand yet because you don't know, what the priority is or what those ads might do to you. But that's fine. And I think if you've run about a 20 or so, then it's you can be relatively confident that you won't die in yeah on the production server. So yeah, that was it. I think I will close the stream now. So thanks for joining everyone, and fly dangerously.
Yeah, thanks.